Hello, friends. So I am going to take a page out of Graham Stephan's playbook. I'm a big admirer of Graham Stephan. I find it amazing that the young man just crossed the 1 million subscriber mark on YouTube. And one of the things that I see on his channel is he talks about money, right? He shares the details. And that's something I haven't done in any great detail. I haven't broken down a deal. I guess I haven't been comfortable sort of sharing with you what I did on a flip or what I made as income or profit, because that's not what I'm trying to do on this channel. But maybe talking about the numbers and breaking down the details and all of that, along with the stories of inspiration and how you can learn, maybe there's a middle ground. And so I'm going to try this out, see how this video does compared to my others. Right, I am very focused on kind of the lessons learned and answering questions and things of that nature. But I'm going to break down a deal that just happened. I've just finished up all the numbers, and we're going to go through them. We're not going to go down to the penny. I rounded them a little bit, but very little. So we're going to share that in detail. So in order to do that, I do want to kind of just share the PowerPoint that I built, because I want to make sure all the numbers are there, and you can stop this video if you'd like and kind of go through them. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to break down a deal where I made just over $20,000, $20,160, which is below my expectations. But again, it's the latest deal that just got done. What I am excited about is my annualized return is 116%. I did this in 5 months, so the actual return is less than that. But when you annualize, right, when you take a return from 5 months and annualize it out to 12, it's 116%. So let's go through it in detail. So again, what we're doing in this particular video is I am reviewing the numbers behind the conversion of a slumlord property, which is something that is in very bad shape, needs a lot of work, and what it takes for me to transition that into something I call pride of ownership, and where I sell it off to another landlord, right? I put it in with the idea that hopefully there's no additional capital expenses for well over 3 years, if not 5 years. So that's what I've been doing. People really like it. Often, as you will see, and this is another example, the product is sold before I'm finished, because again, I give you all the numbers to calculate and things of that nature. But let's get into it. So we're going to review the timeline. I'm going to give you the story. I'm going to give you the lessons learned, which is what I usually focus on. We are going to show you kind of what the after picks are. I just loaded them. I had someone send me some, so we might as well see what the investment looks like. We're going to go now look at the investment dollars. We're going to break it down, talk about all of them. They will be rounded to the hundreds, I believe, as I didn't think it was important to take it down to the penny. And then I will calculate my return and look and share with you how I look at it. We'll both look at absolute dollars as well as the return. All right. So this particular house was one of a couple. That's actually 3 houses that we bought together. The wholesaler came and brought it to us. I believe the package they wanted was $475 grand. After crunching the numbers, the most I was comfortable doing was $425. After some back and forth, we settled on that number, $425. This particular house, they wanted $125 for in the original package, and as we as we broke it apart, I valued this one at $105,000. Okay. We actually closed on this one on April 15th, which was the closing date, right through escrow. It was tenant occupied. This is something I am finding more and more that we're buying, because a lot of people, especially flippers with hard money, they don't want to waste 60 days, right? California law states you have to give a 60-day notice to vacate if they've been there more than a year, which we're happy to do, right? We are we are predominantly landlords, so we understand. So we had to give a 60-day notice in this case. The tenants were out at the end of June, uneventful. They left without issue. The remodel ended up taking about 5 weeks. And we started, I think we actually technically started after 4th of July. So we completed on August 10th. And my total remodel cost was $28,500. You'll see there's extra cost around that, but the general contractor, right, did, I don't know, 90% of the work, and their bid was $28,500. This particular house, as I've mentioned, all of our houses to date have been sold before the remodel is complete. We can do that because we know what target price we want, and we know what the minimum rent we will accept. And that way, new landlords who follow me on this channel say, hey, I want to buy one. I'm a busy person. I have a job. I want something that's turnkey, that's finished. I want, I'm comfortable with Fresno and what you're doing there. Sign me up. So if you're interested in being on the list, of course, let me know. But that's not what this video is about. We had this sold for $175, and we had it rented for just over $1,250. And we actually closed it, as I mentioned, here recently on the 5th of September, I believe was the date. All right, so here's some pics. Here's from the outside. If you followed this at all, I have done walkthrough videos of this. This is the one where we move the front door 3 feet to the left so we can create a third bedroom. Again, creating the third bedroom, which is on the right in this picture, actually creates a lot more rent, creates more value, and is a much better use of space. There's the kitchen, which was a full gut. You can see the floor, laminate flooring there, granite counter, sinks, cabinetry, framed in the window, center sink, all the stuff you would expect. Here is one of the 2 baths. This was actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You can see I didn't have a picture of the other bath. It's a tub in there. It's kind of the kids' bathroom. And here is the master bath, right, for the parents. This picture was taken before the fixtures or on-off were put in for the shower, but you get the idea. And it's just really well done. And just because I wanted to, I took a picture of the bedroom. So this is the master bedroom. The door on the left is how you basically get through the house, and the door on the right is an entrance for their bath, right, just for the master bath. And again, we put carpet in the bedrooms. So that's, what they look like. That's why I call them pride of ownership. We do everything we can to make sure that we've changed and invested the capital up front. So the new landlord can come in and, not have those kind of expenses and really get, really what I'm trying to do is get cash flow in California. That's what I'm allowing people to do, which is pretty awesome. So here's the deal, right? If you follow this channel for any length of time, I have something that I call the 6 and 20 program. This is something where I work with private investors. In this case, in all cases, they come in for the purchase price, which I shared earlier was $105,000. So they take first position, recorded note, recorded deed, they're named, insurance, through title, a whole bit, right? Everything's done legit. So they have a financial instrument. I supplied the roughly $32,000 in costs. That's the remodel costs plus extra, water, electricity. I did just some yard work, just stuff that wasn't covered by the general contractor. It's about $32,000. I ended up paying 4 months of interest. Again, this is part of the cost, and we're trying to go through it in detail. So my private investor was getting $525 a month. They got 4 months of that. So my carrying cost, if you will, was $2,100, right? That's the cost of the loan. Transaction cost was about $9,000. Now, keep in mind, this is total transaction cost, and most of this transaction cost was the commission I paid a real estate agent. I have an agreement with an agent where if I bring the buyer and I'm the lister, that they only charge me 3%. So in this case, 3% of our sale price of $175 is about $5,000 or $5,500. So that's more than half of the transaction costs. The other transaction cost is I paid title insurance and all of those fees in that. So there was about $9,000 in total transaction costs. I did have I call them extra costs. These are just dump fees, just other holding costs, right? When it was vacant, I had to get locks changed, and just there's always this other bucket if you're doing this long enough. So that was about $1,500 in this case. So if you add all that up and do the math, right, the sale price again was 175. I realize that's not on this slide, but I did highlight that earlier. The total profit was right around $25,200. Keep in mind that's the gross profit, and that's not all mine because I give the 20% to the investor. So in this case, the investor got $5,000, just over $5,000. Keep in mind they also got the 2,100 above. So they got their, they got roughly $7,140. So I'm doing the math correctly in my head. But what I got at net of this was $20,000, 160, and that's just 175 minus all of these expenses. So how do I look at that profit, right? So you can look at the absolute profit of $20,000. It's not quite how I look at it. I do want to highlight that I consider this to be a bad deal. My expectation is to gross $30,000 in profit, and thus I would net closer to 24,000. So I missed expectations on this one, but that happens sometimes. We had to put in a $3,000 heater or something. I forget what the big cost was, and we had to do some fence work that wasn't expected. So it happens. Could I have raised the price, the sale price, perhaps? But that's not what we do. We agreed on a price, and it was sold for that price. So keep in mind, I had about $40,000 tied up, right? I had the $32,000. I had some initial closing costs. I had some mortgage payments. If we round that number, I tied up about $40,000. My private lender tied up $105,000, if you remember, but I tied up about $40,000, and I made $20,000. So this is how I look at this. So if you just do simple math, I made 50% on my money. But the key here is I made 50% in 5 months, right? I turned $40,000 investment into $60,000, hence the $20,000 profit. But I did that in 5 months. So what I try to figure out is what's my annualized return. So if you annualize that return over 5 months, it's 116%. So that's how I look at this. Again, made $20,000, yes, but I'm trying to figure out how hard my money is working. And in this case, I'd say the money was working pretty hard. Made 116% inside annualized return in 5 months. So what do you think? I took this approach from Graham Stephan. I wanted to give you all the details, all the numbers. Frankly, I'm still not comfortable doing this. I think it's about lessons learned and things of that nature. But if it helps to see the numbers and this video gets a lot of views and people like it, then I will do more of these. If it doesn't, then this may be a one and done. So we'll see what happens. So in the end, that's how I made $20,000 in 5 months. That's how I made, how I look at it at 116% on my money in 5 months. Let me know what you think. Ask questions below. Leave a thumbs up if you like these videos, because again, I'm not comfortable, but if this takes off and you all like it, then I'm going to do more of them, because we're doing a couple of deals a month. It would be pretty easy for me to do. All right, let me know. And again, congrats to Graham Stephan. 1 million subscribers is absolutely amazing. Keep it up. Take care.